Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Liam. I've got another fun one for you today. It's a fair deck, which is weird for me. Normally, I'm the one playing the unfair decks. I really have a tendency towards the combo decks or things of that ilk, but I was inspired recently. So let me get to the deck tech screen and I'll show you what's going on. So recently, we had the year-end championships happen in Victoria for Yellow Jacket. So for those that aren't aware, at Yellow Jacket, which is one of the sort of main stores where people play Canadian Highlander, there's a yearly qualifier point race. Basically, every time someone wins a weekly tournament, they get a qualifier point, and the top qualifiers, top 8 qualifiers, get to play in a year-end tournament for kind of all the marbles. And a good friend of mine, Jason Jobin, actually finished first in qualifier points this year. He is really well known for playing black-based aggro and mid-range decks. Those, I think, are the two things that I would associate him with. And yeah, he won a lot of tournaments with Nadu tokens this year in particular, a deck that is now like 5 points higher than it was at the start of the year, and I think you can blame him for some amount of that. The deck he chose to bring to the year end is Black Mold, another deck that he's worked on a lot. So this is a green-black aggro deck, and it's good into a lot of the field because it's very stable and it's very disruptive. So what's going on here? Basically, we have fast mana. So the points in this deck are dedicated to Mox. You've got Strip Mine, you've got Ancient Tomb, and then Reanimate and Urza Saga. So yeah, you've got 2 Moxes. You've also got a Chrome Mox as well to really accelerate things out, and Ancient Tomb. So you're looking to either do something degenerate with fast mana, play a big 3-drop on turn 2, or like in the Dream, you play one on turn 1 even. So like things like Ursine Monstrosity, Urborg Scavengers, these get really big quite early, or maybe even like a Sentinel of the Nameless City. These are all super powerful, especially when they come down fast. Or you're looking to take a little bit slower and play a more disruptive game. So maybe on your first turn, you're going to go like Duress or Thoughtseize into something like Tarmogoyf, or maybe you're going to play something like a Hex Drinker and level it up while disrupting your opponent with hand attack, that kind of thing. The deck also is leveraging one of my new favorite cards from this year, which is Metamorphosis Fanatic. So you'll actually see Jason chose to play Worldly Tutor in his deck, a choice I love. I'm a big fan of this, but this is in the deck basically to get Metamorphosis Fanatic. It also has the upside of being able to find your best creature if you draw it, but unless you're Fanaticking, it's a little low impact, but Fanatic pushes it over the top. So yeah, so this is his deck. I give full credit here, and if you want to follow Jason, he posts quite a lot of deck lists. So if you're someone who's really interested in like black-based mid-range and tokens, he's got basically every color combination under the sun brewed at this point. So please go ahead, give him a follow. He's definitely someone who thinks about the format a lot and brews a lot of decks. So I would recommend checking out his list. I think they come with a certain amount of acumen associated with them. He really does have a lot of good performances with them. So yeah, this is his list. And one thing I noticed when I was looking through this list is a couple of cards stood out. There is a Bristly Bill. There's a Scythecat Cub. There's a Springheart Nantuko. There's an Urza Saga. It's over here. It's the heinously hard to parse art version. And maybe you've looked at the other tab already and you can see where this is going. Maybe you haven't. But I took this deck and I changed like 4 cards and I turned it into a Nadu deck. So I added Nadu. I also added Shuko, which I think this is probably wrong, but I wanted to do it just to be able to potentially live the dream of fully going off. And then I cut a couple of other of the more expensive cards. Like I cut Thrun as well, because he actually said that he didn't think that card performed especially well, so I took the liberty of cutting it. And I changed the mana base very slightly. But one thing that I tried to do with this was to be pretty subtle. I think you could easily fall into the trap of like, oh, well, I'm playing blue cards now. I'm going to put Psychic Frog in the deck. I'm going to add Oko to the deck. I'm going to add Uro to the deck. And then all of a sudden you're putting kind of stringent demands on your mana base and you're getting away from being a 2-color deck and getting value out of being a 2-color deck. So the only changes I made were I added Nadu and Shuko, and I think I changed one other card, although I don't even remember which one it was. And then I added 4 blue sources in terms of actual lands. I added Watery Grave, Underground Sea, Tropical Island, Breeding Pool, and I went from 6 fetches up to 9 fetches. So I added, or 7 fetches up to 9 fetches. Sorry, I added the 2 extra fetches you get by virtue of being 3 colors. And that's it. Those are the only changes I made to the list. So that's why I started by showing you the year-end deck list, because that's where I started. The points are the same. So my points are double Mox, Ancient Tomb, Reanimate, Urza Saga, and Strip Mine. Mostly fast mana, a little bit of disruption, and Saga is there as Saga and Reanimator there as kind of like powerful fair cards. I mean, calling them fair is a bit of a misnomer, I think, but that's theoretically what they're there for. And yeah, I think this deck is interesting. It's good at finding Nadu to an extent, right? You've got Worldly Tutor, you've got Green Sun Zenith, you've got Eldritch Evolution, so you can put it into play like a non-zero amount of the time. And when it hits the table, Nadu all of a sudden, unless your opponent is playing a combo deck, Nadu becomes the most important thing going on the table. So I thought it would be interesting to add to the deck and to give a try. And yeah, it was cool. I did like it. So I played against Jer. Jer is playing his version of Jeskai, and I didn't know this at the time. We kind of just went into the match blind, but he's actually playing no recall Jeskai. So he's playing double Mox plus 4 small points. He's been trying to kind of experiment with what Jeskai looks like with no recall, and I think that's kind of interesting too. So yeah, it was a good match. Hope you enjoy it. I just want to quickly say before it starts too, we really appreciate all the support that we've gotten on the first couple of videos that have ended up on the channel. All the feedback and constructive criticism has been great. We're trying to take it all to heart and add it into the videos. So please keep letting us know what's going on. Comment if you want to see more of this deck, or if you want to see maybe the no recall Jeskai deck that Jared's playing. We're more than happy to produce more content of the kind of decks that you guys want to watch. And don't forget to like and subscribe too if you aren't already. Yeah, the support's been awesome, and we really appreciate it. So without further ado, this is Moldy Nadu. Okay, getting into the game here with Nadu Mold. I don't know if it's a good deck name, but it's a deck name, which maybe is all that really matters. Yeah, so I'm on the draw here. I think that Jarrett is on air deck, he said, and this looks like a keep to me. Turn 1 Thoughtseize into turn 2 something. We'll see. Mana base here is a little bit awkward, but we will make it work. I'm going to go turn 1 Scalding Tarn, fetch Underground Sea for the Thoughtseize, and then we'll go. Okay, Mox Ponder. That's good. At least I'm not getting crushed by some 2-drop right away. Leading on the Mox is interesting. I guess he knows he's casting Ponder, and so he's using the Mox to inform what land he'll play. Which seems decent. Okay, Steam Vents tapped. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll get a good sense of what's going on pretty quickly here. Ravenloft Adventurer is a potentially pretty good one. So let's just go Underground Sea, Thoughtseize. I'm not playing the Dread Fugue because he could have a 3-drop that I want to take. Yeah, okay. So seeing this Mox is interesting because it means Spellseeker isn't getting Ancestral Recall, because that would be too many points. And I think, knowing that, I'm kind of potentially interested in just taking something else. I don't know what, though. I think it's just the Teferi. I'm just going to take the Teferi, and then we'll go from there. This Strip Mine has the potential to cut off his ability to cast the Invert Polarity with the way that his mana is set up, because I think it's pretty unlikely that he's going to fetch red-white with that Windswept Heath, which means I can potentially take him off red mana here. I got to imagine Windswept Heath is getting blue mana. So, Cankerbloom. Ooh, Cankerbloom is a way to blow up this Mox, so I could really lean into the land destruction side of things. I think I'm going to start with Dreadfugue and see what happens, because my Dreadfugue gets invert polarity'd. It's a little annoying, but it can't take my Ravenloft Adventurer. So I think this is fine. This can brick as well, but if it bricks, it bricks. At least get some information. If he does, okay, yeah, so nice. So it doesn't brick, I get to take March. And now I have to decide if I want to strip mine him or if I want to play Prismatic Vista to unlock my green mana. If I play Vista, then next turn I can go strip mine into play Bill, which seems pretty good. So I think that's where I'm at. And I'll just do it now. These Jeskai decks can play Stifle, or they can play Tidebinder or stuff like that. Like you can get your fetch land stifled, and I'd rather not. It's like one of the ways that this game could swing in a negative way for me. So what I'm hoping for here is a tap out for Spellseeker play, but maybe not. It looks like he's trying to really protect that invert polarity, views it as valuable, which makes sense. Inquisition. Well, I think I'm just going to go for the strip mine line. Try and strip this blue source. And now it turns off invert polarity for this turn because I can just go to second main, or he's not even going to make me. And I'm going to just play Canker Bloom here and threaten to cut off this Mox as well. Really try and play into the mana taxation line. We draw a 2-mana counterspell? We did. Reprieve. Okay. Sounds good. So his hand is invert polarity, unknown. Oh no, Spellseeker, unknown. We know 2 out of the 3 cards in his hand. Okay. We know 2 out of the 3 cards in his hand still. If he plays nothing, I'm going to go for the Inquisition of Kozilek, I think. And then we will go from there. Legolas is quick reflexes. Okay, that's a good pickup. Let's Inquisition you. I imagine he's going to try and invert polarity this. Yep, sounds good. He lost the flip. Okay, so I don't get got by my own Inquisition, which is good. And now the question is, do I want to Bill or do I want to play Canker Bloom? And I think I'm just going to run out the Canker Bloom here. It's a little bit bigger. I'd like to play Bill on a turn when I can also play a land. And he's on 4 mana. There was an argument for blowing up the Mox Sapphire, but I think that for now I'm just going to leave it in play. I'd like to start trying to put some pressure together. Okay, Lightning Bolt. So his hand is Spellseeker plus Unknown. This, I imagine, is the Spellseeker. Yeah. Okay. So now we get to find out what the best thing is. It's probably just finding Counterspell, if I had to guess. So Jer went into the tank for a while before finally deciding on 4th Irlingus as his Spellseeker hit. Makes sense. Urza's Saga. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Ravenloft Adventurer, get a forest, play a forest, and hold up Legolas's quick reflexes. The 4th is scary, but I'm not going to be able to present enough blockers for it anyway. And this way, I get to advance my board state, put a pretty threatening creature in play. Forest. Me fetching Forest here should be triggering alarm bells for Jared too, because this deck is base black. It's much more black than it is green, so I would expect he's going to put me on having some sort of like 1 mana green instant, and Legolas's Quick Reflexes is basically the only one. So my guess is this is just a fourth slam. If it's just for 1, that's interesting. Oh, it's Flame of Endor. Okay, yeah, so this is why I play it this way. So I can Quick Reflexes the Ravenloft Adventurer. That fizzles one half of this. Jared does still draw the 2 cards, but okay, he found a Mox. Okay, so we know his points are Mox. I wonder if he shocks and still plays 4th here. If he does, I get to kill one of the 2 creatures and then take the initiative back. Oh, he just has Ragavan, okay. So his last card is 4th. Okay, I gotta decide what I'm gonna do with the I gotta decide what I'm gonna do with the Undercity here. So I'm gonna venture into the Undercity. Let's go to the Forge. Forge onto Ravenloft Adventurer. Just make it a bigger blocker. And now, Wood Dread Knight is exciting. I think I'm just trying to go wide here. This 4th Lingus is pretty scary now because it represents, currently it's 3 attackers. I am only going to be able to present 3 blockers, but I think that's just going to have to be good enough for now. So we'll go for Bill, and then we will go for Urza Saga, put some counters on the Bill, and what I can do is I can set up a potential counter attack here where maybe I can activate Bill and double some counters and get in there for lethal on the crackback. But yeah, definitely in a bit of a scary spot here, to be honest. I have not completed a dungeon, so I don't think there's really any reason to be attacking with this Ravenloft Adventurer. I just have to be on the defense because the 4th Lingus is so scary. Yeah. So his hand is unknown plus 4th. My life total is also like kind of under duress here as well. This Ancient Tomb has really caught up to me and the Thoughtseize. Okay, so he forced for 3, has 5 attackers. I block Ragavan. I block probably Spellseeker with Mosswood Dread Knight, and then I block a Warrior with Bristly Bill. And so I end up with, he has 2 creatures against my 3 creatures. That sounds okay for me. He gets to go into the secret entrance to the Undercity and get a land. Again, that not game losing. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what he does. Ooh, wow. Okay, drawing Fury here is pretty brutal for me. So this is going to kill probably Bill, if I had to guess. Yeah, it's just going to kill Bill. And he'll wait until next turn to play 4th. The 4th just sitting there is pretty scary. And me with 3 of my 4 discard spells in the graveyard is not an ideal spot for me. Okay, so the good news is I get to keep the initiative for an extra turn this way. So I get to trap him down to 12, which means that any potential crackbacks from me start to become a decent amount bit more scary. Oh, the land draw would have been fine with Bill, but Without Bill, this is a pretty dead draw. I'm gonna play it because I can surveil, but that's definitely an unfortunate hit for me. So now the math is he has 6 attackers to my 4 blockers, or my 3 blockers. Sorry, I have to put something in front of Fury. Um, Probably just this Urza Saga construct. Ravenloft blocks Ragavan. Mosswood Dread Knight blocks Spellseeker, and then okay, so now the extra land makes this math even worse for me. Yeah, so it's fourth for 4. See how he attacks. Oh, 5, sorry. Jeez. Yeah, my math has been totally off. Yeah, Jared's clearly trying to do the math of how many blockers he gets to leave back. Um, because he doesn't want to just give up the Monarch and the initiative right back to me. Makes sense. I gotta make sure that I do this properly. I think I have to put Mosswood Dread Knight in front of the Fury. I'll make a construct token that will go in front of the Ragavan. And then the Ravenloft Adventurer would block 1 human knight. I'll surveil before any of this happens. I don't think there's a card that I can surveil into the graveyard that matters, but why be wrong and do it at end step and discover that I actually could have done something differently? This also gives me maximum information. Okay, yeah, so the information is there was a brick on top. Okay, so let's make a construct and then go to blocks. So what happens if I block like this and I actually trade for the Fury? That feels like it's gotta be a losing proposition, right? Maybe I do this and I just throw the Mosswood Dread Knight under the bus. One nice thing about this configuration of the deck, I could get Shuko here, and if I draw Nadu, I get to do some Naduing, which maybe is my best out. And by leaving the Ravenloft Adventurer in play, I can still Eldritch Evolution up the chain. Yeah, I think these are my blocks, and it's not ideal. I get to cast the Mosswood Dread Knight from Adventure. So that's little victories, but my life total here is in a real state of distress because of all the potential attackers. Yeah, going back to my hand attack, it's possible I wanted to take Seeker over the Teferi. Maybe I was just happy enough to try and play through the Teferi, and knowing now that the Seeker represented 4th, I should have played differently. I'm not sure, honestly. Okay, so Jared becomes the Monarch. Okay, so we know his hand is basic island plus an unknown and reanimate. Reanimate any good? No, probably not. So I'm at 9 life. I'm trying to decide if I need this Urza Saga mana or if I'm making a construct. I think I need the mana. And I think I'm just going to be fetching a Skullclamp here. It's a pretty awkward spot. I could try to race with Shadow Spear, like the Ravenloft Adventurer plus the Shadow Spear is a pretty substantial clock. And then maybe he would block with the Spellseeker or something, and I could use that. I also can cast the I also can draw a card with the Red Moss Knight from my graveyard. That's or the Mosswood Dread Knight, sorry, from my graveyard, which is something. I don't think it's either of the Moxes. Don't think it's Shuko, unfortunately. That would be the way that I could win this game the most easily. Because if I Dread Knight into Nadu, then I could have 4 triggers, 5, and then I could get Bill. I guess the question is how Hail Mary of a situation am I in? He has 8, 11, 12. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna get Shuko and go for the sort of Hail Mary play here. It's not ideal, but Bitter Triumph. Okay. Bitter Triumph is interesting. That means that I at least get to keep playing the game, and maybe over 2 turns here, I can find a way back in. Oh, don't pass without playing this Mosswood Dread Knight. Holy. Okay. Yeah, so I can Bitter Triumph the Fury, then reanimate it on my side, potentially. Going to be a little low on life for that line, actually. No, we'll see. Because I have to take I either have to take 5 or I need to. Yeah, he's forging onto the Spellseeker. Okay, if I can survive and take the Spellseeker, I can find Green Sun Zenith. That's a line. But I think we're in really dire straits here. So if I block Seeker, I block Fury. That's exactly 8 already. So I have to then Bitter Triumph, discarding a card. No, but because my land is an Ancient Tomb, I take 2 anyway. Yeah, I think I'm dead here. Okay, yeah, the removal spell seals the deal. I have died. Oh, man.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I guess maybe I should have taken Seeker with one of the head attack spells.
You couldn't take it with Dreadfuge, but
No, I had 2 that could take it. Oh no, I guess you counter the Inquisition. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, I think Thoughtsseizing the Teferi was right. My hand was already like so low on pressure, and being in a situation where if I take the Seeker, you get to like sit there with counter magic and then just decide if you want to try and steal the spell or if you're just going to play Teferi and return it back to my hand.
Yep. Yeah, I was saying that was one of a good example of the power of Mox draws, just like getting to be ahead with this deck like that far just lets you play the game on easy mode, basically.
You felt like that game was easy?
I mean, in terms of decision making, yeah, like I drew very well, but
the Fury was pretty savage because I was doing the 4th math and I was like, oh, okay, I'm probably still in the game with this 4th math. And then you took a really long time, and I was like, oh no, if he's tanking, that means he's got something that's better than 4th for 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think likely if I had done either, I'm in a good position to win. But I think Fury was good enough, and it made 4th better the next turn.
So yeah, like I think if you go for 4th, there's iterations where you die on your turn because the Bill. I had like 8 mana, so like the Bill token doublet or the Bill counters doubling like might have like put you in a weird blocking spot / maybe dead depending on what I draw.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. I think the Fury was very good.
Yeah, it was I had several good draws, but yeah I felt in really good position.
Yeah, I had to go for the Hail Mary Nadu draw at the end there. I think I decided that was the only way I was winning the game.
I was trying to think, and I was thinking like even if you hit Nadu, I don't feel like
I have to get I had Reanimate as well, so I would have had Nadu plus Bill with 6 activations, which is like not deterministically killing you, but like is maybe putting me in a position where I can at least fight on board.
Yeah, I don't know what's in your deck, but I felt unlikely to die if you hit Nadu.
Yeah, for sure.
Based on what's in your deck. But yeah, all right. Game
Game
2.
2. Yeah, I think Jared's probably right that there were multiple ways to roam there. But all right, now I'm on the play. Let's Mox draw him ourselves, hey? Oh, it's not a Mox draw. The one thing with this deck that I find kind of challenging is deciding when you're supposed to mulligan. Like, this hand is fine. It doesn't do anything especially exciting or especially fast, which I think means it's just a mulligan. Like, turn 1 Duress into turn 2 play Haywire Might with Cut Down up into turn 3 hopefully play Carnage Interpreter just feels too low tempo, and now I've mulliganed into a a no-lander. It's a shame. I think these are very good cards in the matchup. That was the one thing I was finding with this deck, and I know it's obviously it's an issue of playing the kind of like non-blue kind of like aggro mid-range decks is like you are a little bit at the mercy of your mulligans, and maybe I'm just supposed to keep that 7, but it just felt like I was going to be playing off the top of my deck a little bit too much, and I, especially on the play, was supposed to look for something a little more broken. But if you just like fully brick, like going to 5 with this deck is pretty challenging, tough spot. Okay, so we have a 5 here that is still bad, but I think I just have to keep it, unfortunately. I'll get rid of the Dismember, and I'll get rid of the... I think I'll get rid of the Fatal Push. Yeah, just having an answer, something that kills anything, seems important, but this game is definitely going to be challenging when you start on turn 1, tap land, and you're hoping to cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm to have a play on the next turn. Yeah. All right, well, Jared had a better tap land, but it's only a tap land at least, so I'm not dead yet. Still technically playing the game, maybe. This Urborg Scavenger's art, holy. What is... Oh, okay, the jig is up. I don't know what my best draw is here. It might just be a Mox, I guess. Nice. Perfect. Just how I drew it up. Okay, well, I'm going to Swamp Cycle, I think just for my Surveil land here. Unfortunately, I don't have a 2-drop, but get the Mortuary just to try and smooth out this draw a little bit more. Bayou. Do I need 4th land right away? No, I think I need stuff that does things. I need more spells here. Can't afford to keep the 4th land. All right. Haywire Might is not good in this matchup, but that I think was pretty close to the best possible we could have asked for. We at least got to advance our board state, and now at least we're playing Urborg Scavengers on our next turn potentially, so maybe I have a chance. Only I'd had a second land and could have jammed the Scavengers while his shields were down, I would feel much better. Okay, blue. So I think the reality is I probably just have to cast my spell here. It's probably going to get countered, but if I just wait, I don't think it gets any better for me because he just gets to probably keep hitting land drops. There's like a maybe argument for waiting a turn to see if he misses his 3rd land, but He surveilled a card to the top. It just feels pretty unlikely that that's happening. So I think I'm just going to play the Scavengers and let them get countered. I mean, it's not great, but I don't think that I have a lot of other plays in this spot, unfortunately. And I drew the Sentinel, which is nice, so I at least have another play to make on the next turn, which is another reason to jam. Like, eventually he might run out of interaction. Okay. Blue to Delta. Maybe I'll attack him 20 times with Haywire Might. That's a line, right? That's a viable line. Wow, that okay. Well, can't run hot forever. Chrome Mox was the worst one possible here. Okay, attack with Haywire Might. Get in there. I think the same rules kind of apply. Like, I'm just supposed to jam. Like, I can't just sit around and let him hit land drops. The game only gets harder the more mana he has access to. Okay, so this resolved. So at least I'm getting a map token before it dies. Having 4 toughness is nice. That's not necessarily something that the Jeskai deck like, it doesn't die to Lightning Bolt, it doesn't die to Galvanic Discharge, so if he has one of the white removal spells, it's going to die, but it survives against many of the red ones. Okay. It survived to his turn, that's good. I'm at least set up in a reasonable way to play against blocker on his turn. Like, I have this Bitter Triumph lined up to take out any potential blocker. Okay, Mox, yeah. Yeah, okay, we're going straight up to 5. Yeah, if this is Fury or something, then life is pretty tough. Even if it's like Teferi Bounce, it's not great either. I mean, I guess Teferi Bounce I would get to kill it with the Haywire Might, so maybe that's not the absolute worst. Ooh, Treasure Cruise. Hey, Jared's on kind of a neat point spread. We know it's Mox, Treasure Cruise, 4th Earlingus, and then probably 2 other small points. Maybe True Name Nemesis, that's a card that appears in these decks pretty frequently. Huh. I'm not willing to dump this Bitter Triumph to try and jam this Shieldred, I don't think. So I think I will go for the map token onto the Haywire Might. If he has a removal spell, I would rather it go on the Might. Graveyard Trespasser. Do I want to land that badly? I could put this into the graveyard and plan to activate again. Activate the Sentinel of the Nameless City again. No, I think I'm just going to keep playable strong cards on top. I think that actually the way I lose this game is by drawing all lands from this spot out. If I keep doing threatening things, it's probably the best chance I have. I mean, we're swimming upstream for sure. We're really fighting uphill, but I think that's the best way to win the game. This is, I imagine, a removal spell. Oh, okay. Huh. Ambush Viper, Snapcaster Mage. I'm gonna just kill this. I think. Actually, I'm gonna pay life, not. Might as well. Might as well keep the Chrome Mox. You never know. You might need it. If this is his line, to me, that insinuates that there's not a lot in the way of removal spells in his hand, and he's trying to keep his life total higher, or he's got something that the Haywire Might interacts with positively. Either way, that play to me, maybe he's baiting me, could be a great bait, but I think that was the right line. Lorien revealed. Okay, yeah, we're drawing lots of cards, but we are also just under the gun here. To these creatures, Graveyard Trespasser is going to come in and drain him for 1 right away. I get to attack for 5 as well. Could even potentially be 6. Yeah. I could put Jared at 2. Pretty interesting. Ooh, okay. What do we have here? Tundra, maybe Swords to Plowshares here. Tundra is an interesting fetch. I wonder why he's getting Tundra. Because if it's a removal spell, you'd think you'd be playing it right now. It could be another filtering spell. Like, could be like a Ponder or a Preordain or something, but the tanking is what's confusing me. Maybe there's an Evoked Fury coming my way or something. On second thought, I think... Oh, Portent. Portent me. Interesting. So maybe he's going to shuffle away this Graveyard Trespasser. That's why he was that's why he was tanking. That's a sweet line. I love that. Okay, yeah. So clearly the Graveyard Trespasser is scary for him. So I think I might be on trying to play this Shieldred, actually, if I draw, depending on what I draw. I might pitch something to this Chromox and play Shieldred. Dreadfugue, yeah, get that out of here. Okay, yeah, so we'll cast this Chromox, exile this Dreadfugue, and put a Shieldred into play. And now I've got 3 lethal threats. Yep. Game.
Hello. Yeah, I just kept a really slow one. It was
I was not expecting to win that one.
Yeah. Under normal circumstances, I kept a 5-lander with Probe and Mana Leak, but I had access to 2 Surveillance.
You know, so I've been finding that the Surveillance have like sort of been baiting me into like more questionable keeps, because you like look at the hand and you're like, this is a 5-lander, but is it really? Like...
Well, yeah, and Probe is awkward too, because like if the Probe is a land, then the hand is
pretty bad,
absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
I think I should have just mulliganed.
Yeah, I ran pretty hot too. Like, you saw my hand on 5, and then I drew like Mox, Sentinel.
Yeah, the Sentinel was pretty key.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like something to put pressure on.
Yeah.
The Portent me play was like sick though.
I actually think, yeah, I've made that play a bunch, and it's been good a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and I think in a lot of situations, what they have access to, like, because the ideal situation is you just Portent them, you see 3 lands, and you basically know you're just winning the game.
Yeah.
But in that situation, the top of your deck was Graveyard Trespasser, Carnage Interpreter, and Opposition Agent.
Oh, so you were
and
like,
if you drew basically any of those cards, I was dead.
Yeah, you were like, can't be having him have any of these.
Yeah, let alone all 3. So
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that was bad. And I drew off my Lorien Revealed. I drew both Comet and Teferi.
Oh, which are good but slow.
Yeah, and so I think the combination of either of those dealt with your board. I mean, Comet's obviously random.
Yeah.
I would have played Teferi first.
With the board.
But yeah, Teferi could have dealt with your board, and then follow-up Comet is likely quite good.
Yeah.
Plus I get a couple cards, so like, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I figured Portent to you was my best line, but
yeah. All right, well, for me at least, it's a surprise game 3. When I went to 5 on the play, I thought I was dead for sure, but
yeah,
here we are. Well, more magic, bonus magic.
Yeah.
All right, good luck. All right, yeah, like I said, I was not expecting to get to play some bonus magic here. This hand's awesome. I'm really excited about this one. I get to do one of my favorite things, which is play Dark Ritual Opposition Agent, potentially. And if I don't do that, then I'm going to play a turn 2 initiative creature and feel really good about it. Jar Mulligan to 6, which is great too. If he's on some kind of fetch land go situation, then it could end real bad for him real fast. If he's not, then I'm probably just going to hold the Dark Ritual for the Ravenloft Adventurer, but we'll see. Cheering for a fetch land here. Don't crack it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, it's happening. Oh yeah. All right. This is good. This is why we play the deck. Swept Teeth. Man, this is what a messed up card this is. This one got printed kind of after I was not playing as much, and boy, the combo player in me would absolutely hate to have to play against this on a regular basis. All right, we get Bayou. We cast a Dark Ritual. And we fire off this opposition agent. And this is not game winning on its own, I should point out, but it's very good potentially. Now, technically, I'm supposed to try and work out. Yeah, okay. So I know his hand: Island, Caracas, Memory Lapse, March, Swords to Plowshares. Okay, so it's dying. What land do I want to take out of his deck? Do I get to play it? I can play it. Okay, so I probably want to get a Surveil land, realistically. Weirdly, we're playing completely mismatched colors, so there's no land I can get that will help me cast any spells. I guess I'm just gonna take his Thundering Falls. And yeah. Okay, so the rest of the hand was Caracas, Island, Memory Lapse, March of Otherworldly Light, Swords to Plowshares. It doesn't show up in the Magic Online UI, which is kind of interesting, but here we are. I kind of imagine... Okay, so Jerdru, Rogger, and Triome. Yeah, makes sense. I'm going to play Saga here, and then I'm actually going to go for Deep Cavern Bat and try and take the swords out of his hand. Because this will force him to play March of Otherworldly Light, which currently is a lot less efficient, in order to remove this bat. And, yeah. Feeling okay. Still not, like, winning the game for sure, but when you get to do something like, essentially, like, strip mine your opponent's first land draw, that's always good. Okay, there's Caracas, and maybe we're seeing March. I don't think March works, right? No, March doesn't work. He's marching my Urza's Saga. Yeah, that's fair. But now March can't hit the Deep Cavern Bat, so I wonder if he's playing for the try and mana screw me line, which is like a kind of interesting line to take when he knows I have a land in exile. Like it's only a colorless land, but it is still a land. Orcish Bowmasters. Okay. You're running hot, you're running hot. Okay, we'll get in for 4. I probably have to just fetch... I need double green, so I'm just probably going to get Overgrown Tomb if I have to fetch and play this. Okay, so this is going to be... yeah, I'm just going to get Overgrown Tomb. I want to be able to play this Questing Beast on 4, potentially. Man, this draw has just been everything you sign up for when you want to play this deck, and I will say it's sort of a testament to Jeskai that Jared's deck is still highly, highly functional in this spot. I mean, it's not ideal, but he has draws here that are very good. He put the Remand into the graveyard, so his hand is Island, Memory Lapse, Unknown. We have quite a lot of pressure here, so he needs to find some way to start fighting back on board. Fury would be a good path here. The fact that there's this Swords hiding under the Deep Cavern Bat means he's... Yeah, okay, so he's going to unlock the Swords to Plowshares, which can kill the... He's got to choose now between Oppo Agent and Orcish Bowmasters, which I think is kind of an interesting choice for him. I imagine he's going to delay having to make that choice as long as possible. So we know that his hand is Swords, Memory Lapse, and an Unknown. This Blade of the Bloodchief's Thirst can go to the graveyard. And I'll attack. I imagine this opposition agent is going to eat a Swords here. Maybe it's the Bowmasters. Yeah. The opposition agent being the target makes a lot of sense. So he's going to go to 7. If he taps out for something, like a creature, I get to potentially go like snuff out and then jam this questing beast while the Caracas is down. Otherwise, I just get to play Ravenloft Adventurer. All in all, it is a decent spot for me. Sure. If he's just passing, he's got unknown, memory lapse, 3 lands. We've got a Bowmasters in play. Birdborg Scavengers. I'm just going to go to attacks here. And see if he does anything. Dress down. Okay, so that's cycles. And then technically he could draw cards now if he wanted to, but he goes to 4. I'm going to play this Ravenloft Adventurer. Oh, I have blue mana, actually. Sorry, blue mana is in my deck, so I don't necessarily need to fetch Underground Sea here. I have 2 black sources, 2 green sources. Okay, I think I will just still get Underground Sea. And then I'll get a forest with this Ravenloft Adventurer. Oh, this doesn't work because Dress Down's in play, of course. Well, I think this was still the right play. Just put some more creatures on the board, something that's not legendary. Add more pressure. I don't know what he would play in terms of Wraths. There's probably something, but I don't imagine there's something that also beats Questing Beast. Something like Wrath Disguise is a card that I could see him playing. Important, targeting himself this time. Yeah, pretty good spot for us. So, Memory Lapse plus Unknown. If I cast this Questing Beast pre-combat, it means that he would need to have 2 1-mana removal spells. Well, I have 2 lethal attackers as is, right? Now because Orc Army token goes to a 3. Okay, yeah, and there's the concession. I had the green-black draw.
Yeah, that was a good one. I'm not playing around.
No, turn one Dark Ritual opposition. No,
so,
yeah.
Very fair.
Very fair. Yeah.
Yeah, like, even if there's like a very high chance I'm getting blue-red surveil on my turn, I still think it's better just to like wait and see to give myself more information with the surveil than to play around.
Well, and if you fetch main phase, you're playing into like Strip Mine and Wasteland as well, right? So like,
yeah, that's much less bad though. Like if I'm on the play and you're spending your turn 1 to strip or waste me, like I'm not behind. Whereas with this play, I'm like very behind.
Yeah, yeah. But, like it's like getting your first land. Just
yeah.
Like
I often think on the draw, especially if your opponent plays a surveil land, waste or stripping them is typically not.
Yeah, not unless you also get to develop at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I didn't do any of the Nadu things that I thought would be cool in this deck, but it sure did do the black mold, green-black aggro things good.
Yeah. So, sketchy keep game 2 cost me.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying though, like your deck is obviously still just like so powerful. Like even the turn. So I drew Bowmasters the turn you played Consider, and I was saying as I drew it that like, even though I've had this pretty strong start, like the power level of the cards in your deck is just so high that like I was like by no means like out of the woods in any way. Like you had Caracas that lined up well against the Questing Beast in my hand. You had like a counter spell that was going to make deploying my Ravenloft Adventurer hard. Like I actually had kind of a wonky setup, and then drawing a 2-drop and especially drawing Bowmasters was obviously very good. But
yeah, though your draw line very well. But
yeah, do you think that marching the Urza Saga was right? I was thinking about it. Like I was wondering if it would have made sense to just like on the next turn plan to march the Deep Cavern Bat to get back your Swords to Plowshares. Like, I know it's not ideal to let
Maybe.
something pop out of the saga, but you know I have at least one more land because I have it exiled with Opposition Agent.
Yeah, that's a tap land though, and even if you have one black or green land, that still keeps you off a bunch of your
that's fair. I guess that makes sense.
Stuff. And also, like you could also just make more creatures with
that's
Saga.
true. Yeah,
like if you didn't have a bunch of stuff going on. So
yeah, and I get to play through your memory lapse better that way. All right, yeah, I think it makes sense. That was just the one play that I was a little curious of.
If I don't march your Saga, you're 100% because I have memory lapse. You're 100% just making a doofus.
Yeah, very true.
And then I pass again, and I spend my whole turn killing your 1/1. You make another doofus. You could get Skull Clamp or Shadow Spear or Haywire Might or whatever, and I'm just so far behind.
Yeah.
So I just think planning to kill your 2-drop for 3 mana.
Yeah, it's the best line there.
Was not killing your 2-drop for 3 mana was not a line that was gonna win me the game. I didn't think. So I nugged the Saga.
Makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for the games. Sweet ones.
Yeah, thanks for the games. Have a good one.
Later. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. Like I said at the beginning, please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment if you want to see more of this list or more of any list that we've played. We've really appreciated all of the feedback and all of the support early on in the channel. So please let us know anything that you'd like to see on the channel. We've got another deck challenge coming up pretty soon that we think you'll like, and also some more decks with, we're going to be getting out some Aether Drift gameplay pretty quickly after it drops. So I've got a fun one brewed up, and I know that the other guys have some cards that they're interested in playing and some decks that they're interested in playing with some Aether Drift cards. So let us know if there's anything you're particularly excited about, please. We'd love to hear from you, and we've appreciated all the support and feedback. So without further ado, we'll see you in the next one.